Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to I think this is the seventh workshop in Pakistan Graduate Mentorship Program series. Today's workshop is on writing a research proposal. You already have attended a detailed workshop on this subject. So this is going to be more of more of a interactive session, question answers based. Yeah. So let's start with the just a second. Yeah. So this is part of 10-part workshop series for the mentees on the Pakistan Graduate Mentorship Program. These workshops have covered and will cover different aspects of university and scholarship applications, such as CV writing, SoP drafting, etc., and are meant to supplement the mentorship that you are currently receiving. So today's workshop is primarily for mentees who are applying for research degrees such as PhDs or master's research program, and building on the introductory workshops, it will provide guidance on how to draft a clear and concise research proposal, focusing on requirement of your chosen research degree. The workshop will follow an interactive Q&A format. I'll introduce the panelists. I am Ali Dr. Rahman. I recently completed my MPhil in Modern South Asian Studies at the University of Cambridge. I've been joined by Jabir Ali, who is studying for his DPhil in chemical biology at the University of Oxford. Um, So a recap of what you already know about PhD proposal is that it's a central part of any PhD application or any master's research master's application. It is a statement that presents the idea or question that you wish to explore through your PhD thesis. Research proposals are usually assessed on their quality, originality, and coherence. They are significant because they not only give reviewers a clear sense of how prepared you are for your doctoral research, but also allow them to assess whether the university or department can support you adequately. So basically, it allows your assessors to know if you have the required skill set that you need to for your PhD or your master's degree, but it also in a way helps you to figure out if that department it suits you well, or if that department can help you realize your research goals. Lastly, most importantly, since the process of drafting research proposals involve careful reflection on your intended research, it will help you clarify your idea and conducting your research easier when you start your PhD, because you'll already know what you want to do. You will be working with somebody who will be closer to your area of research. So yes, common hats to cover in research proposals. The first one is definitely your introduction and title. Second one is statement of problem and research questions, which can be part of your introduction. Third is review of literature. Fourth is methodology. For example, if you are applying in history or social sciences, so will you be doing field work? Will you be analyzing primary sources, that kind of stuff? Fifth one is significance. How your research will contribute to the existing scholarship, your timeline for the completion of your research, your field plan, analysis plan, ethical concerns. For example, if you're conducting field works, if you're conducting interviews and you are working on a sensitive topic, so how will you make sure that your participants are safe when you're conducting your research? And the ninth and the final one is tentative bibliography or references. Now, most important thing in all these is that it varies. For example, if you are doing, for example, early modern history, 15th, 16th, 17th century, there aren't many ethical concerns for you to look into. So that kind of thing. Yes, I think that's pretty much the introduction. Now I'll open the floor for questions. Yes, and you can type your questions. You can ask your questions here on chat. One thing I'll ask you to do is when asking your questions, please do let us know that what program you are applying to. So according to that, Jabir or I can respond. Yes, please.
Sorry, someone seems to have DM'd their question to me, which is, what is the ideal length of the proposal?
I think that depends on the program you're applying to. And and the university admission websites, they clearly mention the length of the research proposal that you need to submit. For example, if you are applying to applying for a PhD in history at Oxford or Cambridge, the limit is 1,000 words. If you're applying for sociology at Cambridge, the limit is, I think, 2,000 words. So it varies varies from program to program you're applying to. Yes, anything you might want to add, Jabir?
Yes, in some programs like DPhil in chemical biology or DPhil in biology or chemistry, they don't really require research proposal. It is in here in Oxford. They just need a statement of purpose, and proposal is optional. That's it.
Okay, so we have one question from Zubia Wakar. She's saying that she always struggles between making a concise proposal and an effort to satisfy the supervisor. Yes, Jabir.
Yes, concise. Almost as I think that the proposal should be 2 pages, no more than 2 pages, because concise, you should have to put your ideas in a nice way while starting from introduction, as we discussed earlier. And you should be a concise, you should have to put 2 or 3 lines or sentences regarding the introduction of issue while you are writing in science. And then you should have to turn your idea into the research gap or research problem that we have discussed earlier. It is a very important part of any research proposal, and maintaining the coherence between first 2 or 3 sentences that are related to the introduction, and then you are moving towards any issue or research gap. You should have to coordinate the sentences, and each sentence, first sentence elaborated by the second sentence, and second sentence must be connected with the third sentence. It should be a story, like just someone is telling you a story and you are moving towards any story ending. So in the first part means research gap and introduction, you should conclude in, I think so, 6 or 7 sentences or 8, no more than that. And after that, you should have to place your research question. It might be inside the introduction part at the later stages, and it might be a separate in a separate heading as a research question or a hypothesis like this. And after that, you should have to put your 3 to 4 objectives, and then 4 objectives on 4 lines. You can write in a paragraph by numbering objective number 1, objective number 2, objective number 3, like this. And after that, you should write your methodology. And in methodology part, You should write as for objective 1, what you are going to follow, what are your methods, what are your techniques which you are going to follow for the objective number 1, and as it is objective number 2, as it is objective number 3, and objective number 4. After that, you should have to write 3 or 4 lines like significance of your study, how your study is significant, and how you are going to create an impact while you when you complete your project and you get your results. So after that, you can write as like possible outcomes. What will be the outcomes of your first objective? What will the outcome of your second objective and third objective, and this and that. So after that, I will strongly suggest you or recommend you should have to use some diagrams. Like while you are writing a methodology, you should have to put a good diagram of a methodology while in the science research proposal like biology and chemistry and some sort of stuff like this. And while you are writing an introduction, you must also have some beautiful infograph which tell the whole story, including what is the problem, what is the introduction, what is the issue, what thing you are going to address. And in the possible outcomes, I also suggest to put an beautiful infograph which give a schematic overview of your results. What are you going to interpret, and it can be easily managed in 2.5 pages.
Yeah, adding to what Jabir just said, I think when it comes to social sciences and humanities, I think concise and clear proposals are important, but sticking to word limit is also important. And Zubia, I think your supervisor, your potential supervisors, they know that you were giving this word limit to write a proposal, and they know that if you are given like 1,000 words to write a proposal, you can't clearly explain everything. So they know all these things. Your assessors, they always know your limitations. So do not worry about that.
Yeah, if you allow me, I want to share my proposal, which I use.
Yeah. Just give me a second. Yeah, you can now.
Give me a minute, please. Can you see my screen or not?
No, not yet.
Okay. Oh no, why it is here?
So maybe while you do that, maybe we can take another question.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Also, could you please, while asking your questions, could you also please tell us what program you're applying to? Because I cannot comment on any of the science research proposals, but Jabir can. So yes, we can see your proposal now, Jabir. Yeah.
Thank you. This is my research proposal that I used for OPP and as well as my PhD admissions and for the University of Oxford. And this is the title, investigation on the mechanism of TATX-mediated resistance to TG-cycline. It is an drug and other tetracycline antibiotics, enabling discovering inhibitor discovery and optimizing discovery of novel tetracycline analogs. So starting from my introduction, here I named it Here I named it it's as background. So moving on the first sentence, the first sentence explain the what is the issue, what is I'm going to address. in this proposal, the tetracycline class of antibacterials are among the most important classes of anti-infective drugs. So means जो मेरा issue है उसको मैं elaborate करने के लिए first of all बता रहा हूँ कि I'm going to study the resistance in tetracyclines in general. Then, however, their clinical use is increasingly compromised by the resistance due to the extensive use of both humans and animal medicine. So this sentence is telling that although I'm going to address the issue of antibacterial resistance, how it happens, the reason of the previous sentence means why antimicrobial resistances happen, what are the reasons behind it. So as I mentioned earlier, the connection between first sentence and the second sentence is very important. These now the second sentence is actually explaining the sentence number one. So as the such resistance even applies to latest generation tetracycline such as TG-cycline. So how I'm moving from sentence to sentence, idea to idea, and connecting first sentence with second and second with third. So various mechanisms of tetracycline resistance has been identified, including the altered target and efflux processes. Now I am telling that in first sentence, I told here, I write here, tetracycline resistance, tetracyclines are very important drugs for infection control. And in second sentence, I told due to their excessive use, resistance has been developed. And in third sentence, how many mechanisms or what are the mechanisms or resistance that are currently present in bacteria. So a relative new but threatening mechanism involves the tetracycline degradation. Because I discussed in previous sentence, there are so many resistance mechanisms like efflux pump and target like. And I am now mentioning that the one of the most important mechanism is what? If the degradation via the TATX oxidoreductase enzymes. So I'm moving my story towards my main objective or my main purpose of this proposal. So this is, I made this beautiful infographic by using Adobe Illustrator, and I show all this is the how I manage this. This is the structure of a bacteria, and this is the blue area outer side. The lines are the cell membrane, and this one like pink or red type. This is the antibiotic, and how this antibiotic enters in the bacterial cell, and how these mechanism of resistance that I am discussing about works for bacteria to degrade this drug and or survive under the different conditions or drug stress conditions while we are applying the drugs. And now I add a caption of the figure explain the TG-cycline mechanism of action and bacteria resistance to degrade the TG-cycline and other tetracyclines, the flammon-dependent monooxygenases. That the point I discuss in here. So the TATX reductase enzyme. Now this sentence is connected with this sentence. So I'm how maintaining the coherence of each sentence with other. So my every sentence is actually elaborating or defining the next sentence. So moving towards in hurry, this is the research gap I put here. Tetracyclic oxidation is coupled to the reactions with NDPH and O2, although the resources, this is the review of literature. Now how I connect the review of literature with the gap knowledge. So although the structures are available, the kinetic details of their catalysis and structure dynamics during catalysis are unknown. Further, the different enzymes differ in their efficacy. So again, I'm connecting with another review of literature with the other research gap. Shen et al., for example, have shown that the TATX is usually efficient concerning TG-cycline oxidation despite having very similar overall structure to the most other characterized TATX enzymes, including thus. So another research gap. Underlying molecular reasons for differences in TATX efficacy are unknown. There are now more than 50 TATX variants, mechanistic and other studies with the TATX enzyme, both in isolated and cellular context. So now I'm moving towards my objectives. The work will provide a basis for the identification and development of TATX inhibitors for the use in combination with tetracycline and particularly tigecycline and finding like this. So the overall main objectives, I divided my objectives in two types: overall main objectives and some short-term objectives. The main objectives I written here, and write as the rational design for next generation tetracycline antibiotics that avoid the resistance mediated by novel TATX variants, the extended efficacy of existing tetracycline by use of this and that. And after that, I put my short-term objectives, and as I defined earlier, how to write a research methodology. I write for objective 1 and 3. I will follow this sort of stuff, and for 2, 4 or 5, I will follow these steps. And after that, I write the possible outcomes. In possible outcomes, I also use same infographic but with some modifications. Actually, I want to stop the resistance of bacteria that is undergoing for the tigecycline, and I stopped by placing different inhibitors. This is one, this is second, this is third, Caesar-like, and to stop the all mechanisms that follow bacteria to resist against a particular antibiotic. And I'm showing that whenever my project will be completed, I will be successful to achieve this. And the significance is written here for, and the summary, and funding and ethical approval. And this is the signature of my PhD supervisor. And the most important thing, this is a timeline for the completion of the major tasks. So here I give the 4-year timeline to complete this project, starting from October 2023 to October or September 2027. Everything have its own time span, and I'm following still this timeline. And these are the few references. This is all about from my side. And now I think that you guys have a better understanding for the research proposal, how you will compile and do these things. And now the floor is open for the questions.
Yes, I think we have one question from Nurul Naseem.
Hello, thank you. I'm Nurulan from Islamabad, Pakistan, and I'm a researcher on Afghan refugees, and I'm actually aiming for a DPhil in migration studies at Oxford. And I mean, this was a very good presentation by the previous speaker, but I think it's more related to scientific work. And I would just like to ask, I would like to ask in a very vogue way, and maybe you can sharpen it in your answer. I'm interested in knowing what makes a proposal competitive, because Oxford is unbelievably competitive, obviously, and to stand out is going to be tough. I mean, the previous presentations or trainings on SOP writing and CV writing, they focused a lot on how to make them competitive, because a lot of programs are competitive. So I'm very interested in knowing how can you make a social sciences public policy related proposal very competitive, because I'm aiming to study the legislative lethargy in Pakistan on refugees, why Pakistan was not able to pass a single law despite hosting Afghans for 45 years, and Bengalis and Biharis. We have no national level refugee law, So I've been working in policy with the government on this for 4 years now. I'm still working with Pakistan government. I have a lot of exposure and links in policy circles in DC and in Islamabad. I was also a visiting fellow in Washington last year on a fellowship studying the same subject. So I think I have the ground level access to data and understanding of the issue, and I've created a very consequential memos that have gone to the PM office. But I think that my weakness is definitely a grip on the academics of the issue. So yeah, I hope I was able to convey the question. Thank you.
So Javed, will you go first, or should I?
Yeah.
Will you respond first, or should I?
Okay, actually, I'm not very well know about the social sciences, how the proposal will works, because I have expertise in science, especially in chemistry and biology. And something I want to suggest that she must use some beautiful infographics, because these things in any sort of domain you are being using or applying, you should have some strong infographics. It will create impact. There are no other person that are using like stuff like this. You will be only, I think so, and use some quantitative data while you suggest any topic, and search for the data that have some quantities, and make some beautiful plots by using our programming, and suggest that this is the issue and this is the background knowledge, and how we will move, and create some important things in your PhD, and like this. Remaining the subject or the idea, I don't have anything like this, because I think Ali is in better position to guide you.
Okay. So there are a couple of things when it comes to especially funding and scholarships. They're always tricky. They're always risky. You never know if when you are going to get one. So having said that, but there are a couple of things that do contribute to your research proposal. I think one of the first things that you need to do with your research proposal is you need to be very clear about why are you applying to Oxford? I mean, why is Oxford the best place for you and for this kind of project to be done? Second is you need to find a very appropriate supervisor, because when it comes to social sciences, humanities, it's the supervisors that has the most say when it comes to funding, but it's also their suitability for your project. So if you have both of those two things, another thing that you might want to do is to bring in global significance. We are from Pakistan, Jabir, everybody in this discussion, we are from Pakistan, and we know that refugee problems, especially Afghan refugee problems, they affect us on everyday basis. But why would a person who's sitting in a West, who is sitting on in a Western university on a funding panel, why would he care, or why would she care about Afghan refugee issues in Pakistan? So you need to connect your project to something bigger, that not only your proposal will look into it, but it will have in a way global significance. One last thing that I'd like to add here is that I mean, the work you have done is amazing, and that is the reason that you might be one of the most suitable persons to do this project, to do this research, right? And you need to emphasize on that in your proposal, that why you are the right person for this job. And you are. I mean, if you have done so much work on refugees, then with your background, you are the right person for the job, So do that. And I don't think but I think funding is always tricky, When I applied for my MPhil, I wasn't even sure if I'll get any funding, but because there wasn't any chances, I didn't apply for any special scholarship. But at the last moment, I found out that I got funding, and it was like weird kind of funding, just like college and university, some kind of mutual fund stuff. Funding is always tricky, and it's really terrible in the UK. So those are the ground facts, but still people get it, and there's no reason why shouldn't you be one of them? Yes.
Thank you so much to both of you. That was very helpful. Thank you.
Another question is that should we align it with our MS thesis? Should we align our research proposal with our MS thesis? I think Jabir, you can.
Yes, exactly. You should align, but in some cases, if you don't have means exact similar background, it will work. And for the PhD, again repeating here at University of Oxford, the research proposal is not required, but in case of Cambridge, it is required. I applied for Cambridge as well, but my funding was rejected at the last stage, and So it is better to write the connection like your master research and the PhD research in SOP, I will suggest, because it will create a beautiful story in your SOP. You did something like similar in your master's and your bachelor, and you have studied some courses, you have read any historic book regarding to that field, mention there and write some excellent SOP that will elaborate your every thing in your research proposal and CV as well, and make a precise research proposal according to guidelines that the PPT written early, and make sure every thing be present, and must visit the guidelines of every university regarding writing a research proposal. Some universities also have their own research proposal draft, and some want some certain type of headings, and follow them, and write a good research proposal.
Another question that is from Faizan. He's asking, I think if you could share this proposal with them. I don't know.
Ali,
I think Faizan, that would not be possible because Jabir is doing this research. He's in the process of doing this project, and usually I don't think people in academia share their proposals, projects while they are working on it.
But I can guide you. You can contact me and get my contact from Ali. What happened?
Okay, so we have another question from Tayyaba Hussain. Yes, Tayyaba.
Assalamualaikum. Sir, thank you for the nice presentation. Actually, can you hear me?
Yes.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि बाज़-औक़ात हम अगर मैं अपनी बात करूँ तो मेरा जो बैकग्राउंड था वो प्लांट साइंसेस पे था। मैंने बॉटनी में मास्टर किया, देन प्लांट माइक्रोब इंट्रोडक्शन पे मेरा एमफिल था। तो लेकिन मेरा ना होता है ना कि आपके अंदर एक कीड़ा होता है कि मैंने ये चीज़ करनी है, और शुरू में आपको सही डाइवर्जन नहीं मिलती है, सही वो आपको लाइन नहीं मिलती। लेकिन पीएचडी में मैंने कैंसर चूज़ कर लिया, और यहाँ मैंने परस्यू कर लिया ना इस्लामाबाद में एक यूनिवर्सिटी में। तो अब ये है कि मैं स्प्लिट साइट स्कॉलरशिप है कैम्ब्रिज, मतलब यूके का है, तो वहाँ मैं अप्लाई करना चाह रही हूँ। उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट ये होती है कि आप पाकिस्तान में एनरोल होते हो, लेकिन अपनी रिसर्च आप यूके में जाके करते हैं। तो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि आप मेरी अब सीवी जो पीछे मैंने जितना कुछ भी किया वो तो अब इररिलेवेंट हो गया, जिसमें मैं अब काम कर रही हूँ। तो उसमें ये होता है या तो हम EDX से या coursera से कोई ऐसे कोर्सेज़ जॉइन मतलब वहाँ से कोई ऐसे कोर्सेज़ अकम्प्लिश हम करते हैं, और फिर हम उन्हें ये बताते हैं कि हमने इतने कोर्सेज़ पढ़े हुए हैं, या हम कॉन्फ्रेंसेस वगैरह जॉइन अगर हम करते हैं तो वो हम बता सकते हैं अपनी उस SOP में या इस तरह के, ताकि हम उस प्रोजेक्ट को विन किया जा सके या उसको एलिजिबल हो सके।
First, you can tell me, would you like to tell me about what sort of research are you doing? Any work on enzyme involved in cancer cells?
मेरा सर, मैं आपको लिवर कैंसर पे मैं अभी काम करने जा रही हूँ PhD में। तो लिवर कैंसर पे ये होता है कि आपने पाकिस्तानी पॉपुलेशन को आपने हिट करना है कि इसमें यहाँ पे कहाँ पे म्यूटेशन आ रही है। हमने एक जीन फैमिली को टारगेट किया है, और उसमें से हम देख रहे हैं कि कहाँ पे म्यूटेशन आ रही है। देन हम एक ड्रग सिंथेसाइज, ये अब आगे प्रपोज्ड वर्क है कि
नहीं,
ड्रग को
आपसे
सिंथेसाइज
ये
करने के बाद
पूछना चाह रहा हूँ, मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाह रहा हूँ। एक्चुअली आपने ये कहा कि आप कैंसर पे काम कर रही हैं और लीवर कैंसर पे काम कर रही हैं और जीन्स पे काम कर रही हैं। तो अब मेरा ये था, इससे अगला क्वेश्चन था कि उसमें स्पेसिफिकली कुछ रिसेप्टर्स होते हैं सेल पे, उनको टारगेट किया जाता है, या कुछ जीन्स एंजाइम प्रोड्यूस करते हैं जो उसकी ग्रोथ को कंट्रोल कर रहे होते हैं, जो ओवर ग्रोथ होती है सेल की। तो इफ क्योंकि प्लांट्स में, ह्यूमंस में और बैक्टीरिया में कुछ ऐसे एंजाइम्स डिस्कवर हो चुके हैं कि जो सब में सिमिलर हैं, ठीक है। जैसे अभी PPHD एंजाइम है, कुछ वो कैंसर सेल्स में भी होता है, वो सीडोमोनास एरिजिनोसा बैक्टीरिया में भी होता है, वो प्लांट्स में भी होता है। तो इसलिए मैं पूछ रहा था कि समथिंग ऐसी कुछ हो कि जो आपके प्लांट्स वाले वर्क को आप इसके साथ लिंक कर लें, तो वो बहुत बेहतर हो जाएगी। मीन्स वो आपकी रिसर्च ही, वो आपकी डोमेन ही उसी तरफ चली जाएगी कि पहले ये प्लांट पे काम हुआ, अब कैंसर पे काम हुआ है, तो देन आगे ये प्रोसीड होगा। तो मैंने इस वजह से आपसे पूछा था, समथिंग आप सोचना इस बारे में, और इफ इट इज पॉसिबल फॉर यू टू लिंक दिस, इट विल बी मोर बेटर। और आप जो कह रही हैं कि ऑनलाइन कोर्सेज, वो भी एक अच्छी स्ट्रेटजी है। आप कोर्सेरा पे देख सकते हैं, EDX पे देख सकते हैं, तो वो भी अच्छी स्ट्रेटजी है। वो आपको ये इंश्योर करवाएगी अगले बंदे को कि इसके पास एकेडमिक नॉलेज है, लेकिन रिसर्च तो एक डिफरेंट चीज़ है, वो एकेडमिक नॉलेज के साथ तो उसको लिंक नहीं करती। बाकी आप किसी कैंसर बायोलॉजी की या किसी सेल बायोलॉजी की कोई SOP में किसी बुक का आप दे सकते हैं रेफरेंस, या कोई लेटेस्ट पब्लिश्ड पेपर का रेफरेंस दे सकते हैं, कह सकते हैं कि ऐसे हुआ, फिर देन अगली फाइंडिंग ये आई, और अब मैं ये सोच रही हूँ कि मैं इसको ऐसे 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 कर दूं। तो दिस इज द व्हाट।
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
We have another question. For you, which software you have used to create those graphs, figures?
ओके, मैंने पहले बता दिया इसको, अडोबी इलस्ट्रेटर एंड फोटोशॉप से भी कुछ हो जाते हैं। और एक यहाँ पे कोई गैंट चार्ट का पूछ रहा था, तो वो गैंट चार्ट बना हुआ है माइक्रोसॉफ्ट प्रोजेक्ट से, प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर टाइप का एक सॉफ्टवेयर है, एज आई रिमेम्बर दैट, तो उससे बना हुआ है।
Okay, so do we have any other questions? क्या हमारे पास और सवाल हैं?
Someone asking software for rewrite proposal. I can't understand this question.
Saddam, अगर आपका एक कोई question है तो you can ask us. I mean, you can unmute yourself and ask us. Okay, Jaber, we have another question. Can we organize literature review, research gap and significance in an introduction part, or there should be separate sections for each?
Okay, मैं तो यही रिकमेंड करूँगा कि सेपरेट ही लिखें, और रिव्यू ऑफ लिटरेचर को आप इंट्रोडक्शन का पार्ट बना सकते हैं, एज आई मेंशन्ड इन माय प्रपोजल, because linking the review of literature with research gap, it is an excellent strategy to giving two-way information to your supervisor. This sort of thing has been done already, and someone did in 2021 or 2022 or 2023, and this is the research gap, and this should I want to use. And that is the why I selected this topic, and how I'm going to tell you that this sort of stuff. And for the significance, you should make another heading and elaborate with facts, figures, impacts, and some data if you are from belonging to the medical background, data from WHO, CDC, and like the organizations, and what impact on any specific issue is important on the economy of any country or the health status of any country. So, and how your project will be beneficial to you can say as the common public in Pakistan and the common public in UK or USA and the stuff like this.
I think it also depends on your word limit. For example, if the word limit for your research proposal is like 600 words, then you can't have separate paragraphs for
Yeah, exactly.
everything. Then you might think of like writing a very strong introduction, and then using the and putting your research gap and significance as part of that introduction. Or if you have like two
Adil Khan, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
And someone is asking, should I put the proposal in email? And I think this is Adil Khan. I recommend you on initial stages, you should have a good CV and good focused research CV. And you should have to contact your professor through using good strategy while studying his 2 or 3 papers and finding some research gaps and knowing about the current ongoing research projects in his or her lab, and then mention the project of your interest in your email and the research gaps that are already present in his research published articles, and making making a making a connection between your past works and current works with his research domain, and you should write a good email, professional email, and attach your CV. That's it. It is a good strategy, and I think it is enough. I never ever attached my proposal while applying at any university like Cambridge or Oxford. I was selected for Cambridge as well, but my funding was rejected at the last stage. And without proposal, you can proceed. First, you have to get a consent from your professor, and if he asks for research proposal, then go for it. If he don't require, then no need to write. Zubair, can you open your mic and ask the question? Yes, Qasim, you can ask. Qasim, unmute yourself, please. Yes, welcome, Mari Bhai.
Sorry, I lost the internet. पता नहीं क्या हुआ था.
No problems. Everything is fine. Qasim, you can unmute yourself, please. I'm waiting for you.
So I think we have another question. Can I apply for PhD in research field which is totally different from my MPhil research?
Yes, you can, but it would be more better to stay on your field because PhD positions are very competitive, and professors get many emails and many requests for PhD positions. That is why it's better to continue in your field rather than skipping another one. So, but some cases I have observed some people were succeeded to get PhD position having with no experience in that department or that research position. But it's depend upon your luck as well.
Yeah, I think in humanities and social sciences, I think it's fine if you're applying if you are applying to fields that are closer to your field. For example, I know some of my friends who did their MPhils in English and then they did their PhD in history. So I think that's fine, but it should be closer to your field. It's not like you have your MPhil in history and then you're applying for a PhD in plant sciences. No. Yeah.
Ali bhai, do you know about, is there any scope of management science at Oxford?
Well, I think there's scope for everything, to be honest. Like if you're applying to Oxford, I mean, it's a good place. It's a really good place. So there's scope for everything. I don't know much about management sciences. I mean, it's a very broad field, but yeah, I think there's scope for everything.
Oxford has very well developed and modern type business management institute. Like I think Bellatonic, I am, as I remember, a newly made, but I don't know.
Kasim, do you have a question? Kasim, maybe you can type your question in chat and then we can respond to that. Kasim, you can participate. We're waiting for you. Okay, I think we'll take some questions from here. I have one for you, Jabe. Alina, she's saying that I have experience in material science using simulation. I have no background in experimental research, but now I feel more interested in pursuing PhD in experimental research. Should I go for any experimental research here first, and then after successful publication, can apply for PhD?
Oh, not at all. You can apply by now as well, and publication is not necessary to get an admission. Please make your SOP as good as you can. And if you have good credentials, good CGPA, and some good projects without publication, you can achieve any PhD position here in Oxford or Cambridge. I know some friends, they even don't have their masters. They directly enrolled in Oxford in my lab after doing his bachelor and in PhD. And it is quite possible if you make your documents well according to the requirements that the department or university is mentioned, so you can get anything.
Okay. So we have next question from Azizullah, who's, I think, asking that would it be possible to understand why my application was rejected despite holding a BBA IT along with pursuing MS Project Management and MS Development Studies? Coupled with 14 years of experience in the development sector, is the rejection attributed to the combination of fields? I don't think, Azizullah, we would be the right people to comment on that. But I don't think applications are rejected due to combination of fields. I think maybe you can write to your department and ask them. In some cases, I know they do provide feedback on your applications in a very few cases, but maybe you can try that.
The one thing I want to add in some Ali bhai discussion, मुझे ये लगता है कि आपकी एप्लीकेशन में वो फोकस नहीं होना, आप वो जो एक साइंटिफिक एप्लीकेशन होती है, मींस सब चीज़ें एक ही एजेंडा पे होती हैं, तो वो नहीं होता होना, वो मिसिंग होना है। प्लीज़ अपने डॉक्यूमेंट्स एक दफ़ा देखें और उन सबको पढ़ें और से बैठ के, और आप इजीली आइडेंटिफाई कर लेंगे कि उसमें मसला क्या है। और दूसरी चीज़ ये कि जब भी आप कहीं भी अप्लाई कर रहे हैं किसी भी यूनिवर्सिटी में, उसमें उसकी वेबसाइट पे सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन दी होती है, उन इन्फॉर्मेशन को बार बार पढ़ें, उनके पॉइंट्स बनाएं, उनके नोट्स बनाएं, और देन फिर चेक करें कि आपके डॉक्यूमेंट्स में वो सारी चीज़ें मैंशन हैं या नहीं है। तो इस वजह से ज़्यादातर हम पाकिस्तानी लोगों को हम गौर से नहीं पढ़ते कोई भी चीज़, मतलब एक दफ़ा पढ़ते हैं और उसको फिर स्क्रॉल डाउन करके दिस ये चाहिए और ये चाहिए और ये चाहिए और फिर और फिर राइट कर दिया और फिर सबमिट कर दिया। तो एक दफ़ा एनालाइज करें और आपको खुद ही पता चल जाएगा कि कहाँ आप मिस कर रहे हैं।
Yes. How much CGPA enough for PhD? I think just what I'll say, I mean, what Jabir had just said, you need to check what your program requires. CGPA is also one of them. बहुत सी universities, especially Oxford or Cambridge, इनकी international qualification वाली अलग से जगह बनी होती है, उसके अंदर उन्होंने बहुत डिटेल से लिखा होता है कि क्या CGPA चाहिए आपको if you're applying for a PhD.
एज आई रिमेंबर ऑक्सफोर्ड के लिए तो 72 पॉइंट समथिंग आपके मार्क्स चाहिए, और उसमें CGPA अगर आपका ज़्यादा है तो फिर आपके लिए स्कॉलरशिप अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ कैम्ब्रिज में भी ऑक्सफोर्ड में भी ज़्यादा होती हैं। अगर आपका CGPA थोड़ा है तो एडमिशन तो आपका हो सकता है, जैसे कि आपका 3.3 है, 3.4 है, मतलब तो फिर तो एडमिशन तो आपको मिल जाएगा मोस्ट प्रोबेबली। अगर लेकिन बहुत सी स्कॉलरशिप्स ऐसी हैं जिसके लिए आप एलिजिबल नहीं होते CGPA के साथ, तो आपको एटलीस्ट 3.7 होना ज़रूरी है। जैसे यहाँ पे ऑक्सफोर्ड की कुछ अपनी स्कॉलरशिप्स हैं, जैसे कैम्ब्रिज की अपनी स्कॉलरशिप्स हैं, तो वो उसमें CGPA का बहुत ज़्यादा सिलेक्शन में पार्ट होता है आपका।
Yes. Is GRE must for PhD in Cambridge and Oxford? If yes, then which GRE is required in natural sciences? GRE subjective or general? As far as I know, GRE सिर्फ business programs के लिए चाहिए होता है Cambridge में और Oxford में भी. Natural sciences वाली साइड पे पता नहीं.
नेचुरल साइंसेज में नहीं चाहिए, बायोलॉजी केमिस्ट्री में नहीं चाहिए, बिल्कुल भी नहीं चाहिए। आपका IELTS भी ऑप्शनल है, लेकिन अगर हो तो आपके चांसेस बढ़ते हैं।
एक और बात, I think Jabir and I cannot stress this enough. Please go to your university's PG admission, postgraduate admissions website. They are very detailed. There's no information that you won't find there. So please बहुत अच्छे से बहुत डिटेल से उन्हें देखें. जो मोस्टली क्वेश्चंस जो आप लोग पूछ रहे हैं, प्लीज पूछिए हमसे भी, लेकिन इन सब के आंसर्स वहां पे भी लिखे हुए हैं, मौजूद हैं.
इवन वहाँ पे ये भी लिखा होता है कि आपने रेफरेंस लेटर जब टीचर से लेना है तो वो उसकी क्वालिफिकेशन क्या होनी चाहिए या उसका रैंक क्या होना चाहिए, और उसने उसमें क्या क्या लिखना है, आपको किन चीज़ों पे उसने असेस करके बताना है, उसमें पॉइंट्स क्या होना चाहिए, आपकी इंटेलेक्चुअल एबिलिटी, इस तरह की चीज़ें, आपकी माइंड सेट और प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग एबिलिटीज, लीडरशिप स्किल्स, आपके एकेडमिक्स, वो हर चीज़ उन्होंने मेंशन की होती है कि ये चीज़ें रेफरेंस लेटर में होनी चाहिए, ये चीज़ें रिसर्च प्रपोजल में होनी चाहिए, आपका CGPA इतना होना चाहिए, आपके SOP के इंग्रेडिएंट्स ये होने चाहिए। वो सारा कुछ डिटेल्ड हर डिपार्टमेंट में उसकी वेबसाइट पे पड़ा होता है, और इवन ये भी बताया होता है कि हमारी रिसर्च डोमेन्स क्या हैं। फिर आप फैकल्टी में जाते हो, प्रोफेसर्स की प्रोफाइल्स में उनके ऑनगोइंग प्रोजेक्ट्स भी बताए होते हैं, बहुत डिटेल्ड होती हैं वेबसाइट्स यहाँ पे यूनिवर्सिटीज़ की और प्रोग्राम्स की।
जी बस प्लीज. Kasim Khan, please, what's your question?
Hello everyone. Thank you for taking my question. And please accept my apologies. इससे पहले भी मैंने एक दो दफ़ा यहाँ पे hand raise किया, लेकिन I have some technical issues in my internet connection. I don't know. I have question about the research proposal topic. जिस तरह हम टॉपिक जो रिसर्च प्रपोजल के जो टाइटल है, टाइटल के बारे में, तो I think title is one of the important element of the research project. So we have seen a lot of titles of research proposal. तो मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि जिस तरह हमने रिसर्च प्रपोजल के टाइटल्स देखे हैं कि कुछ प्रपोजल ज़्यादातर 2 पार्ट्स में होते हैं, तो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि क्या रिसर्च प्रपोजल का जो टाइटल है वो उसका एक पार्ट भी हो सकता है या इट शुड बी 2 पार्ट्स? और मेरा दूसरा क्वेश्चन जो है इट इज़ रिलेटेड टू लिटरेचर रिव्यू. लिटरेचर रिव्यू वैसे हमने काफ़ी चीज़ें सुनी है लिटरेचर रिव्यू के बारे में, पढ़ा भी है, But my question is, how will we find a research gap in existing literature and existing knowledge? अगर इस हवाले से कुछ बताए. Thank you again for taking my question. And
आपके दूसरे क्वेश्चन का जवाब मैं पहले दे देता हूँ. तो रिसर्च गैप को फाइंड करना आपको पता होगा, क्योंकि आप कह रहे हैं कि आप पढ़ते हैं साइंस. तो जो भी आप रिसर्च आर्टिकल पढ़ते हैं प्लीज़ वो आप लेटेस्ट पढ़ें, और उसके डिस्कशन के लास्ट पैराग्राफ में, लास्ट या उससे ऊपर वाले पैराग्राफ में, उस आथर ने या उस साइंटिस्ट ने उस डोमेन में जो काम किया होता है ना, उसने बताया होता है कि ये आर्टिकल यहाँ तक है और इससे आगे ये रिसर्च गैप है, तो इससे आगे ये स्टडी होनी चाहिए. तो यहाँ से आप फाइंड कर सकते हैं जो भी आपका टॉपिक है, जो भी आपकी डोमेन है, उस डोमेन पे जो आप सोचते हैं कि ये रिसर्च टॉपिक होना चाहिए, तो उसके अकॉर्डिंग वो कीवर्ड्स डालें, वहाँ गूगल स्कॉलर पे डालें, पबमेड पे डालें, जहाँ आपका दिल करता है साइंस ट्रैक पे डालें, वेब ऑफ साइंस पे डालें, वहाँ से आर्टिकल्स लेटेस्ट देखें, रिसर्च आर्टिकल्स देखें और उनकी डिस्कशंस पढ़ें. पहले उनके एब्स्ट्रैक्ट पढ़ें, फिर इंट्रोडक्शन पढ़ें, फिर उसके थोड़े बहुत रिजल्ट्स देखें उसके, और फिर जाएं डिस्कशन वाले सेक्शन में और डिस्कशन पढ़ें. और डिस्कशन वाले सेक्शन होता ही इसीलिए है, वो बताया जाता है कि पहले ये काम हुआ था, आज वाला मेरा जो काम है इसके साथ अलाइन करता है, इससे डिफर करता है, और अब इतना इतना काम मैंने कर दिया और ये रहता है. तो वो जो रहता होता है वही रिसर्च गैप होता है. और मोस्ट प्रोबेबली ये डिस्कशन के लास्ट पैराग्राफ में होता है रिसर्च गैप, या डिस्कशन के लास्ट से ऊपर वाले सेकंड लास्ट पैराग्राफ में. और टाइटल का आपने पूछा था कुछ इस तरह का, तो और टाइटल कंसाइज होना चाहिए आपका, और टाइटल अट्रैक्टिव होना चाहिए, और मॉडर्न टाइप होना चाहिए, और बहुत ज़्यादा बोरिंग ना हो, लंबा ना हो, और शार्ट इन सेंस बहुत शार्ट नहीं होना चाहिए, मॉडरेट होना चाहिए, और अट्रैक्टिव होना चाहिए. एक ऐसा सेंटेंस हो कि जो कोई भी पढ़े तो उसको लगे कि क्या बात है, ऐसे ही बंदा वो करे. तो बाकी टॉपिक ढूंढना कैसे है, तो वो आपने स्टडी से ढूंढना है. हाँ, मुझे यहाँ पे ऑक्सफोर्ड में तकरीबन दूसरा पहला 1.5 महीने हो गए, 1.5 महीना हो गया, और दूसरे के करीब हूँ, यानी दूसरा पूरा होने वाला. तो अभी तक मैं रीडिंग ही कर रहा हूँ अपना टॉपिक ढूंढने के लिए. उसको जो पहले वाला मेरा टॉपिक था उसमें तो कुछ हमने सर्टेन चेंजेस की यहाँ पे आके, और उसमें कुछ एडजस्टमेंट, और मींस ये रीडिंग जो है ना, रीडिंग वो बहुत ज़रूरी है आपकी. आप जितना अपने टॉपिक को, एरिया को रीड करोगे, आपको टॉपिक डिज़ाइन करना आएगा, आपको रिसर्च गैप्स पता लगेंगे, आपका रिव्यू लिटरेचर होगा. ऐसे कभी भी नहीं हो सकता कि आप एक पेपर पढ़ो, एक दिन बैठो और कोई मतलब आपके माइंड में ऐसा आ जाए कि हाँ ये रिसर्च गैप है स्टडी में. तो आपको एटलीस्ट पर वीक 50 आर्टिकल्स पढ़ने चाहिए, और फिर आप कोई 2 से 3 वीक्स लगाएं, और उसके बाद यू विल बी एबल टू मेक अ गुड टाइटल फॉर योर रिसर्च प्रपोजल फॉर कॉम्पिटिटिव पोजीशंस. एंड उसके बाद आपको रिसर्च गैप भी पता चल जाएंगे, क्या रिसर्च गैप है, इंट्रोडक्शन कैसे लोग लिख रहे हैं, और आप कौन कौन सी टेक्निक मेथडोलॉजी में मेंशन करोगे, और कहाँ कहाँ क्या रिसर्च हो रही है. तो आप इजीली वो कर सकते हैं, लेकिन विदाउट रीडिंग द आर्टिकल्स इन योर स्पेसिफिक डोमेन इट इज इम्पॉसिबल.
Azizullah, could you please ask your question here? या तो आपका पूरा क्वेश्चन नहीं लिखा हुआ बट समझ नहीं आ रही उसकी. If we opt for the research geographic area pertaining to either Pakistan or the UK, उसके आगे, so you can ask your question here if you want. फैजान ने लिखा है कि how about
reading the most
how about reading the most recent review paper in the subject and they highlight in detail, I mean, challenges and gaps. Yeah, I think Jabir यही कह रहे थे.
आप रिव्यूज़ भी पढ़ सकते हैं. अगर रिव्यू डिफरेंट टाइप के होते हैं, अब रिव्यू में हर रिव्यू में गैप नहीं लिखा होता, कुछ रिव्यू होते हैं जिसमें गैप लिखा होता है, तो आप वो भी देख सकते हैं. इट्स अप टू यू, इट्स योर फिजिबिलिटी. बट रिव्यू आपको एक अच्छी इन्फॉर्मेशन देता है. अगर लेटेस्ट हो और अच्छे जर्नल में पब्लिश हुआ हो और अच्छे ग्रुप में पब्लिश किया हो, तो वो आपको ये इन्फॉर्मेशन ज़रूर दे देता है कि इसमें कितना लिटरेचर ऑलरेडी मौजूद है, मीन्स इस टॉपिक के ऊपर.
So do we have any other questions, or should we?
One thing more, there is no shortcut. आप को रीड करना पड़ना है, ठीक है, हार्ड वर्क करना पड़ना है, और रीडिंग ने ही आपको एक अच्छा रिसर्च प्रपोजल देना है, और रीडिंग ने ही आपको एक अच्छी एसओपी देनी है, और रीडिंग ने ही आपको लीड करना है कि आपकी सीवी किस लेवल की होनी चाहिए, और रीडिंग ने ही आपका वो माइंड सेट बनाना है कि आप तीनों चारों अपने जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैं आपके, उनको एक डायरेक्शन में बना सको। अगर ये आप रीड नहीं करोगे तो देन वो पॉसिबल नहीं है, और पढ़ना मुश्किल काम है, और फिर रिसर्च आर्टिकल पढ़ना उससे भी बड़ा मुश्किल काम है, और फिर डेली पढ़ना और वीक में 50 पढ़ना जैसे मैं कह रहा हूँ, तो ये उससे भी ज़्यादा मुश्किल काम है। तो क्योंकि आप जब ऑक्सफोर्ड का सोच रहे हैं या कैम्ब्रिज का सोच रहे हैं, तो फिर ये भी साथ में ज़रूर सोचना है आपको कि उसमें कंपटीशन का कितने कम्पिटेटिव होगा एडमिशन यहाँ पे, या पीएचडी पोजीशन यहाँ पे कितनी कम्पिटेटिव होगी। तो फिर उस लेवल को मीट करने के लिए आपको ये सारा कुछ करना पड़ना है, और रीडिंग पे कंसंट्रेट करें, आर्टिकल्स रीड करें, जो भी आप सोचते हैं, जिस भी आपका जो भी माइंड कहता है कि ये रिसर्च प्रपोजल होना चाहिए। फिर वो ये भी चेक करें कि जिस यूनिवर्सिटी में आप अप्लाई कर रहे हैं, उस यूनिवर्सिटी में क्या उस डोमेन पे काम होता भी है या नहीं होता, कोई ऐसी लैब है भी सही, कोई ऐसा प्रपोजल है, प्रोफेसर है भी सही जो इस पे काम करता हो। तो वो चीज़ें भी साथ साथ आपने टैली करनी है। ऐसे नहीं कि कोई आप ऐसा कुछ लिख के बैठ जाएं जो कैम्ब्रिज में काम ही ना होता हो, तो वो तो फिर अच्छा नहीं होगा। तो ये दोनों चीज़ों को देख के साथ साथ लेके चलें, और होप सो के होप फॉर द बेस्ट।
Yeah, I think अब हम इसको खत्म करते हैं। There's another workshop tomorrow, writing samples के बारे में, so please to attend that. Anything else, Javed?
नहीं, मैं तो कंप्लीट कर चुका।
ठीक है, okay. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Yes.